Hello and welcome to another Showbiz Hot 5. Starting us off at 5. It's all starting to hit home to the stars of Harry Potter that their fantasy world will soon be a thing of the past as they hit the final stage of filming the last 2 instalments. For Rupert Grint, it's going to be a bit of a change and he anticipates it being very sad. No wonder. Of the 3 kids from the movie, Emma is now the face of countless fashion lines, Daniel Radcliffe the toast of the West End, and Rupert, well, he hasn't really done a thing outside of the franchise since that Thunderpants film. Number 4, if you're prone to crying at movies, especially the last Harry Potter film, then you might bawl at the new feel-good comedy from Judd Apatow, Funny People. It stars his old mate Adam Sandler and takes you on a trip with a stand-up comedian and his illness. Like any good comedy, it has the ability to pull at the heartstrings pretty easily, and after his success with 40-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up, Judd felt he was in the position to make a film he wanted to make with the people he wanted to be in it.
You know, there is that moment in your career where you realize now is the moment when they would let me do something like this, and maybe they won't next year. And you know, you hear a lot of people say, oh, you know, one day, you know, when I'm in a good position, I can make my passion project. And I've seen a lot of people get in that position and not make their passion project. So I felt like it was my responsibility to take full advantage of the moment.
Number 3, earlier on, girls, we told you that Nick Jonas is on the market, but sadly one of the original boy banders, Mark Owen, will finally be off the shelf and hitched to his long-term partner, Emma Ferguson. The 37-year-old and his fiancée are keeping stum about the details and guests, but one thing's for sure, all the boys will be there. Maybe that will be the scene of the long-awaited return of Robbie. And so at 2, the longest running feud in rock and roll may at last be put to bed as Paul McCartney talks out about his relationship with John Lennon. Speaking to the Radio Times, Paul says that any bad mouthing from John was done when they weren't exactly completely with it and also off the cuff. Their relationship started early in the 60s when they were watching bands covering their tracks and knew they had to start writing them down. Despite the breakup in 1970, it was one of the greatest writing partnerships in history, and Paul says, whatever bad things John said about me, he would always slip his glasses down to the end of his nose and say, I love you. That's really what I hold on to. And finally at 1, this would be the ultimate in celebrity spats. Brad Pitt versus Tom Cruise. A German newspaper reported last week that Brad was less than impressed by Cruise's war flick Valkyrie. In fact, he branded it ridiculous. But Brad's manager told usmagazine.com that it was lies, all lies. Boo, maybe there is some truth in it though. Brad, who famously performed with Tom in Interview with a Vampire, admitted that when they're on that film, their characters didn't exactly gel. Now come on Tom, your turn to stoke the fire. Well, that's it for today. Join us next time for some more showbiz gossip on the Showbiz Hot 5.